Y'all ready for this?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's another edition of the Pregame Show Rewind. I'm Tolly Carr, joined by our guy from Boulder, Colorado. He is Mr. Neely. And although his body is in Boulder, his heart and mind right now, this week, is in Jackson, Mississippi, because it is homecoming for his alma mater, the Jackson State University, and he is repping. Neely, you got all bases covered today, man. You're doing a good job.
Hey, you got to have the bases covered, man. Ain't nothing like homecoming week at a HBCU, and there's nothing like homecoming week at my HBCU, Jackson State University, man. Shout out to everybody who I know is out there on the plaza, kicking it, getting ready for the big game this weekend, Jackson State University homecoming. And I can't help but notice that on this special episode of The Rewind, when I rock my college gear, you got Alcorn up behind you, man.
Oh, let's take a look. Do I? Hey, look right there. What's up, Braves? Yeah, a little prayer view down there too. Yeah, but Neely, it's. I wish I could just give you a wide shot, but I would be embarrassed of the mess that this studio is in. But man, I play musical chairs with those pennants, and Jackson State is always nearby in the mix.
There you go. There you go.
Always. So it comes and goes depending on who we're talking to. Man, if I leave that Colorado up there doing some HBCU content, boy, I'd really be in trouble, brother. Really.
Well, John Lewis said there's nothing like good trouble, so go out and start some.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll leave that right there, Neely. Let's talk about some things, man. It's only been a couple of days since the last time we talked. And Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, has had a press conference and got a couple of bites I want to get to. One of them talked about recruiting. And we've been seeing that, hey, some big stars have been showing that Colorado is where they want to be. Now, coaches can't talk about specific players, but they can talk about the overall mood of recruiting, if you will. This is what Coach Prime had to say.
I think we're looking good right now. See, I'm not in it for the best recruiting class of this. We got to recruit what we want and what we need. I don't give a damn what type of star they have besides their names, because once they get here, that star is gone, right? I have yet to hear anybody say, touchdown pass by Deion Sanders, 4-star recruit. That's over. Once you get here, that's over. So I don't really care about that process, but you know how important the portal is for us. You can't even, all the guys that's going to be in the portal is not in the portal yet. So I love it that we're very attractive right now. We're very attractive right now to recruits, and they're contacting us dozens. We're good. We're good. We're right where we want to be.
And Neely, it comes down to this, like every time. Like, it sounds funny when he says he ain't hard to find, but that's kind of the recruiting trick there. Because the phone does not stop ringing, the text messages don't stop texting, the IG don't stop IGing.
And the eyeballs don't stop eyeballing. Everywhere you look, no matter what the media platform, someone's discussing Colorado football. I don't care if it's the Today Show or ESPN, a Home and Garden, or the Home Shopping Network of merchandise. Everywhere you look, you're going to see Colorado football and Deion Sanders. And that means that the eyes of recruits, the eyes of their parents, the eyes of their friends and loved ones that help them make decisions are seeing it too. You think back to when Coach Prime was at Jackson State and he was on the Tonight Show, with the Jackson State hoodie on, and the imprint that does. And it's still out there and it's still garnering attention. Now that he's here in Colorado, nothing has changed. Wherever he goes, a camera is sure to follow, even if it's my camera, and it's going to be put out there in the space, and people are going to see it, and people are going to wonder what it's about and start talking about it. You match that with the overachievement that has happened from a team that was 1-11 a year ago, with now looking for that fifth win at home against Stanford. He ain't hard to find, man. The recruits are looking. The portal is going to open up, and I think it's going to be a record-breaking historic class for Colorado.
You know, when you talk about the eyeballs, don't stop seeing and ain't hard to find. I want to look right behind you there. Since the last time we've talked, you got a little sign back there, Neely. What's going on here with the no twerking? So what is this all about, Neely?
You know, Tyler, I wonder when you're going to notice that. It was off to the side a couple shows ago, but now you can plainly see it. You know, Coach Prime has this saying that he always hits us with in the morning, are we working or twerking? And so whenever I'm working, there's a no twerk zone.
Okay, I did not know. You know, you've been in Boulder for a while, man. I just didn't know if you had some lifestyle changes, some company that comes over.
I don't know. I'm still pro twerking, but when we working, there's no twerking.
Okay, I mean you've told us about night action in the past. I just didn't know. The people needed clarification. All right, so I'm glad to know that sign means that you are indeed working. We had Coach Carl Reed on The Big Boys, which has premiered this week since the last episode of The Rewind, and Coach Carl had something very interesting to say about. Let's see, if a contract negotiation or an extension happens to come up anytime soon. He put his own value of where he thinks the negotiations should start. Let's see what Carl Reed had to say.
Well, he is who he is, you know, and so because he is who he is, he's going to be with him everywhere he goes. Anything that he touches has turned to gold, and every single thing that he does is going to be top billing. And so he's built this program already into a national media darling. Look at the ratings that have been coming out. What is it? 4 of the top 5 most watched games this year. The viewership, the sponsorship, and the finances. And I'm going to say something that some people think is crazy. I think his next contract has to be $200 million or better. That's the type of, I think he's going to completely move the needle in the way that coaches get paid and the way that you have to evaluate what he's brought to the table in terms of ticket sales, sponsorship, advertising, and viewership, new enrollment to the school. I think $200 million is the number that Coach Prime should be looking for on his next re-up.
All right, that comes from the latest episode of The Big Boys, which you can see right here on the Pregame Show YouTube channel. And he didn't pull his punches there. I need Carl to negotiate my next contract. It might not be $200 million, but Carl sees your worth, if nothing else.
Yeah, and I think that's just purely what it is, man. What is somebody's worth? What do they mean to your program, your business, your organization? What kind of return on that investment is going to take place? When you look at merchandise, 800% ticket sales, reaching goals that have never been done before, including the national championship year, 40% increase in applications from out of state for the school. And you look at what's been out there in the space for college coach salaries. You know, we have reached the 100 million mark and past that for several coaches out there. And I think that next benchmark is 200 million. And there's nobody, as Carl Reed said, who can command that, demand that, deserve it, and can make sure that you at least make a 10% profit on it, which is 220 coming back in, than Deion Sanders. So I'm all for it. You know, we'll see how that thing plays out over this season and next when people start talking about extensions and that sort of thing. But I think Carl Reed, mathematically, man, when you look at what Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, brings to the table, you look at the market space for coaches and what coaches bring to these programs, he ain't hard to find, and that ain't an amount that ain't hard to reach.
You know, Neely, when we were growing up, man, it only took $6 million. You could build an entirely new human. You could take somebody, man, that had been in a serious accident, give them a robotic eye. They could jump over fences and this out-of-the-world strength. The economy has changed, brother.
Man, you have just told our age, giving that cryptic $6 million man. You know, I guess today, man, that would probably be the $600 million man, huh?
I guess so.
Hey, but Tyler, speaking of $6 million man, yeah. You know, I know they had to give him balance with both legs bionic, but why they only gave him one bionic arm and one bionic eye, man? Hook the brother all the way up, man.
I don't know, man. Every time he had to see something. But brother, do you remember that $6 million man toy where you could look through the back of his head to see through that bionic eye, man. That was top shelf. That was right next to G.I. Joe with the kung fu grip, man. You could not beat that.
Hey, you can't beat the rewind in this various subjects. So get this. You brought up $6 Million Man. There was nothing like the episode when the $6 Million Man had to fight Bigfoot, and there's nothing like Bigfoot. And just the other day, some people in Colorado put out a video where they saw Bigfoot.
I saw that. I kind of feel like I'm past the age where I'm just believing that there is a Bigfoot or a Loch Ness monster. I feel like Bigfoot would already have like an IG profile by now, but who knows, man? He might be out there lurking somewhere.
Hey, I ain't doubting it, man. You know, there's plenty of stuff we ain't seen and don't mean it don't exist. And I ain't trying to prove it either. So, hey, shout out to Colorado Bigfoot. I like the way you kind of crouched down and hid amongst those bushes, man. It looked planned.
Oh, Sasquatch. Let's talk about some defense. You had a chance to talk to Charles Kelly, defensive coordinator there at Colorado, and people talk about the defense week in and week out, and as they look for this team to continue to improve. Let's take a listen to a little bit of this conversation with Charles Kelly.
Coach had a short week this week, got a home game on a Friday night.
Yeah, short weeks, that's a big challenge, but it's another opportunity to play. Guys have been locked in since we got back from Arizona State and, anxious to see them out on the field.
Going to be a big temperature change, 103 there, going to be about 30 on Friday night.
Oh, yeah. Good, cool weather. No humidity, though. It'll feel like it's 50.
What's your expectations out of your defense for this home game?
Well, our expectations are the same every week. We want to improve every week. We want to eliminate the big plays. We got to eliminate the explosive plays. We're playing better against the run. That's one thing that, we've had to improve. We were better on third down last week, especially in the second half. Wound up with 5 sacks in the second half. So we want to build on that. And if we, worry about the process, not worry about the result, then we'll see ourselves get better.
And speaking of that second half, how do we get what's happening in the third and fourth quarters to happen in the first and second?
My biggest thing, the first drive really got us. It was really the first quarter, as we had 4 3-and-outs after the first drive. And then we had the drive towards the end of the half. We missed a couple tackles on the perimeter, had a chance to get them off the field. Listen, these prolonged drives, it's usually not getting off the field on third down. There's some explosive plays that happen, but it's, you got to play good. You got to have good edges on the defense. And when you got good edges, you got to make plays out there.
As always, Coach, appreciate your time. And I love the midweek beard.
Hey, I'm going to keep it going.
Neely, your takeaway from the defense week in and week out. They have done enough to get to 4-2. A victory over Stanford on Friday night. Later tonight, will bring them to 5-2, one game away from that bowl eligibility. Just what have you seen from this defense as the season and the weeks start to run together?
The arrow keeps pointing up for these guys. They went through almost a crisis as it relates to injuries in the secondary, but still were able to get wins that they needed to get during that time. Now everybody is coming back. Travis Hunter has been practicing this past week, and we'll see if he plays, how much he plays at Stanford. Coach Prime is pretty optimistic that he will. Shiloh Sanders is back. Carter Stoudemire, whose dad played with Coach Prime in the NFL, is back. So this defense is only going to get better. And you're talking about a defense that is leading the nation in takeaways, man. And then you have a guy from HBCU from Jackson State and Cameron Silman Craig, number 7, who's leading the conference in interceptions. So this defense has yet to peak. Charles Kelly came from Alabama, and Charles Kelly will tell you, hey, man, Deion Sanders and Nick Saban got more in common than they got different. I love the way they lead organizations and the way they demand things and accept nothing less. And you see that from this defense.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're in those Aflac commercials together. That's not happenstance at all. Let me apologize to everybody. I did kind of bury the lead on today's show. We had somebody in the comments, Neil. I love our comments. They are so positive. We must have a large Canadian fan base because these people are just super positive and uplifting. It's almost scary. I got to condition my mind to nice comments again. But one person commented our writing. I was like, writing? What is this writing he refers to? I think the first couple episodes we did used to kind of write them out, but it has turned into let's just do it and start talking and having a good time. So I did bury the lead here. Travis Hunter might play on Friday. What would he mean? I think, Neely, even if he's not 100%, having somebody out there that you know is going to be in the right place and telling other people to make sure they're in the right place would be critical to this defense.
I think it means everything to this team, everything to this defense, everything to this offense, everything to the fans in Folsom Field and the crowd on Friday night. I think it means everything to Travis Hunter. He asked Coach Prime, man, what more can I do to get back out there? And Coach Prime told him, like, I just want to make sure your wind is beneath you, you know, that you're in game shape. And he looked good at practice on Wednesday. He did not have his pads on, but was at practice. And Tuesday, he was actively participating in practice. So all arrows are pointing up. We'll see later tonight how often he takes the field. But just his presence dressed on the sideline, man, seeing number 12 out there and also getting him in some game action, even if limited, is going to mean the world because defense has got to account for him when he's on offense, and offense has got to account for him when he's on defense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the case. And to give people broader context, you know, since we have been covering Coach Prime and Travis Hunter going back to the Jackson State days, this is nothing new. Coach Prime has always protected the big picture of Travis Hunter. He didn't play a whole lot his 1 year at Jackson State. They wanted to, you know, dealt with some injuries that he had, you know, coming in, and they've always protected his larger interest outside of, you know, a game to game. Oh, we really need you out there today.
Man, and that is the Coach Prime just belief system. You know, he has been that guy in college. He's been that guy in the NFL, and he knows it gets greater later. And you got bigger games and bigger moments and longevity on the other side of this one weekend. So he protects his players as a coach and as the father figure / parent that he is. Even Alton McCaskill, running back who transferred from Houston, coming off an injury, did his time in the yellow practice jersey, is now, is now getting his reps. Expect to see him more against Stanford. And because the thing was, even with Alton McCaskill, as it is with Travis Hunter, hey, brother, you got more college games ahead of you than this weekend, and I don't want to do something to risk that, let alone your professional career that we all believe is coming and know is coming. So I think you're going to see Travis out there. I think you're going to see Alton McCaskill, a running back, getting more carries than he's accustomed because it's all been about protecting the player and making sure that their health and wellness is the first thing, not them participating in the game.
You know, people don't see everything behind the scenes like you do. And, you know, Coach Sanders has been coming to the mic a few times this year, and he's been saying, man, we play like hot garbage. You know, even says it during the in-game interviews. And some people, you know, someone asked him this week at the press conference, you know, was he going to start to call out people, you know, individually or groups, you know, collectively within the team? And Coach Prime reminded everyone that what you see on TV isn't the whole story.
Our meetings, I do.
Sure.
I can't do that in front of you guys.
That's right. How do you start to, like, how does it then turn for the next game to get the attention?
No. I got the attention.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody inside that locker room, coaches included, I got the attention. So, you know, this ain't a mind game I'm playing. This is real. So I say what I say and I mean what I mean. I don't stutter nor do I stumble. I make it plain. They know who I'm talking to.
Do you think the expectation is different for this upcoming game then?
There's lofty expectations for every game, for me. And I'm not going to change my standard. My standard is my standard. The way we practice, the way we prepare, the way we perform. My standard is my standard. I have a lofty standard. That's why I'm here.
So, Neely, Deion Sanders has the attention of this team. The people that need to hear what they need to hear are hearing it. Even though it seems like his entire life, his entire program is available, what percent would you say, roughly, do we see versus what we don't see, thinking that, you know, sitting at home that we might just know everything?
Well, let me take it a different slice. What you see is 100% real. It's not scripted. It's not staged. Now, what percentage of that of the total pie you get to see, you know, it just varies week to week. There are some conversations with players because, let's face it, these are someone's children. They're someone's child, brother, sister, you name it, that are just between a coach and whoever's in the room. Same thing with his coordinators or assistant coaches. These are professional people with contracts of their own, and you don't do human resource stuff, in the public. But I will tell you, man, whatever you see, he ain't sugarcoating it or hiding it. And then the things you don't see are even more direct than that. So as he indicated in his remarks, the people that need to get better, whether they're individual players or schematic things by the coordinators or position coaches, believe me, they know who he's talking to, and he's talked to them directly, and he's talked to them in front of the entire team. He doesn't pull any punches of sugarcoat because he don't want anybody coming back and saying, well, I didn't understand. I didn't know what you meant. Or you know what he means, and you know where he stands.
When Coach Prime comes by and sees those extra helpings on your plate, what type of lecture do you get, Neely?
I get the standard Neely ain't gonna miss no meal, but I do want to point out, although Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Coach Prime, is in much better physical condition than I've been and ever will be, notice he's also eating too now. Like he ain't, it's almost like Friday. Like, why every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen? Well, because you in the kitchen too. So not only Neely I miss no meals, Coach Prime don't miss a meal.
Neely, he needs the protein. You had the video, Neely. You had the video where somebody, I think it was his children, questioned whether he could hop on the bench and still get it done. I think it was it 3:15 that he just popped it real quick like it wasn't a problem?
Man, in a trench coat with no warm up.
He needs the protein, man. So
he still got it. He ain't got a gold jacket. He ain't buy that gold jacket. They gave him one.
I'm going to need to see you justify your calorie intake, Neil. I'm going to need to see you on that bench.
Bet. Watch it happen. Coming soon to the pregame show rewind. Bench press challenge. I'm going to get my reps in, and then we're going to kick it to Tyler and see how many he gets in.
Ooh, brother, I have never been great on the bench. Now
he's trying to back. He's crawfishing, y'all. He's backing up.
Look, Neely, I tell you my talent. You want to get out there and run in a straight line? I got you all day long. Bench press, I did 225 once in my life. Like I pushed it up one time, and I did that one time. I'm a 185 type of guy, man. Just,
Hey, Tolly, let me tell you this. You are a father.
Yes.
You're an exceptional father.
Thank you.
As long as you can pick up your children, that's the only strength you need. Because when the house on fire, somebody got to grab one of them and run. If you can do that, you good.
I can do that. When my children get to be 225, they on their own. They're going to have to.
Yeah, I bet. Hopefully when they 225, they definitely on their own because they good and grown.
All right, Neely, on the field tonight, we're going to see people who would laugh at us questioning their ability to bench press 225. There are going to be some big boys, some men on that field tonight. What are you – last week you predicted the MVP ahead of the game, Alejandro Mata. You said he's going to be the guy. What are you predicting? What are you seeing? Can we call you Negro Damas? What are you seeing tonight?
I see some more Javon Antonio, wide receiver number 4, big body, can play any position out there that catches, from tight end all the way out there to the X. So I think he's going to be utilized more. You look at him coming off that injury, which was kind of keeping him from fully participating in practice and/or games. That is gone now. That's off the top. The Maybach roof is open. So I'm looking forward, to Shedeur Sanders finding him some. I do also believe that the defense could very well be the MVP, not just an individual player like Mata or Javon Antonio. I'm looking forward to this defense to really get after Stanford's quarterback, to get some hurries, to get some sacks, and to get an interception or two. Did not get an interception in Arizona State that broke the streak. Looking for that renewed streak to start going into Stanford in the bye week that I think we'll get an interception tonight.
Fast start. Will it happen tonight?
Man, everybody out there that watches the pregame show, the rewind, and the big boys, people that know me personally, know one of my most favorite quotes is, the best indicator of future performance is past performance. And because we have failed to fast start in the past, I ain't putting a lot of money on that we're going to start fast. I am saying, though, that when we get started, the roof is open and we're going and we're going and going. But something about this team dynamic, it just takes us getting hit first before we start to hit back. Once we start a new trend of that not being the case, then I'll believe it. But because I hadn't seen it yet, Tolly, I'm still not expecting a fast start.
All right. We appreciate your honesty. America does. So Colorado, not the only game in your interest this weekend. They'll be playing on a Friday night, which will free you up to enjoy watching Jackson State on Saturday, taking on Alabama State. Never a lack of fireworks and headlines and storylines with Jackson State and Alabama State the last few years. Coach Prime obviously not there anymore, but I think people will still have some fun with this game after the he ain't SWAC, I am SWAC, who is SWAC, baby, everything that popped off from that game last year. Still a lot of fun for people to talk about that. But they will have to get out there and play, and none of that will matter between the lines. What do you predict for your Tigers this weekend, Neely?
I predict a victory. I think TC Taylor has these guys ready. You know, the whole mantra of guard the yard. You know, the coach over there at Alabama, Eddie Robinson, said last year he couldn't wait to play Jackson State and hopes he plays them for homecoming. You know, so this is literally 1 year since he pushed off Deion Sanders' handshake at midfield post game, and that whole he ain't SWAC thing started. And here we are a year later, man, and he got his wish. Alabama is playing Jackson State for homecoming at the Vet. So put up a shut-up time.
It'll be interesting. Alabama State has a really strong defense. They've struggled to find some points. Jackson State has the leading rusher, went from a team that was a dominant passing team with Shedeur Sanders, obviously, to now the leading rusher in the SWAC with Irv Mulligan. So it will be a good game. If you're interested in that, we'll have it over with our friends at HBCUGameDay.com, so you can read about that and see some of that action on Saturday. Neely, there has been a big conversation in the comments about many things, but the music conversation continues to roll on. So for all of our fans that watch the entire episodes, who stick through until the very end, I was out running this morning, and I was raking some leaves, and I was just listening to my playlist, and I was like, man, I got a diverse playlist. Is mostly non-Black music. I don't know how else to say that, and it doesn't mean anything to me, but I thought I'd put it on the screen, thought we'd have some fun, and let people in the comments pick out their top 3, top 5, their favorite song from my playlist. I'm heavy on the Eagles, Neely, one of the best-selling bands in the world, in history. Led Zeppelin is one of my favorites as well. Fleetwood Mac. This all goes back to things I grew up listening to. Billy Idol. We got some Billy Ocean there, man. Caribbean Queen. The way I missed this when I was a kid, Neely, but Caribbean Queen sounds a lot like Billie Jean. I did not catch it when I was a kid, man. But I think that Billy Ocean was trying to. He was trying to get a little of that Michael swag there, or at least the producers were at the very least. But man, really love that record. I'm going to, just so you all know, it is diversified as I direct the show here. Let's go to page 2 here. All right, here's where we start to get into it. So we kind of roll out of, Guns N' Roses and get into a little Michael Jackson. And there you go. You got some Drake and Future. You got Juvenile. Back that thing up, man. Look, when that thing comes on and it says... the 99 and the 2000, that will never, ever, ever, ever get old.
Well, it's getting old because it was almost 25 years ago.
Man, when I saw Juvenile on NPR doing a Tiny Desk concert, I was like, the end is near, Saints.
Yeah. We're on the back half of this thing, Tyler. I love your music list. We got something we do here at practice on Wednesdays, not only out there on the practice field, but Wednesday morning when you're gathering for the team meeting. It's called White Boy Wednesday, where the playlist for that day is just all European centered, man. But there's a lot of good jams in there, some of the ones you just named. And it's always hilarious, when Coach Brian walks in and it's Wednesday, because they said, y'all get up and dance. They dance to y'all music. You make sure you dance to theirs.
Well, I think you might let me get the controls on Wednesday, man. I think I could rock the playlist. I would get it right on in there. But it is what it is. All right, man. Enjoy that game tonight. I know you're going to be working hard. No twerking, straight working. It's going to be Colorado hosting the Stanford Cardinal. no S, the Cardinal tonight. Friday night, we'll talk about it throughout the week. It is the Pregame Show Rewind. I'm Tolly Carr. He's Uncle Neely. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you later.